11 children, New York has been a challenge. We're paying 12 grand a month for rent. The kids have to busk just to make it.
Big family, big city, tithing to TLC update, and you don't really have to use your imagination much. It's exactly what you think, but let's go back through who this family is exactly.
The children are homeschooled and then practice for 3 hours a day in their 5-bedroom rental house in Harlem.
Big family, big city is based around a family that has been popular on social media, Happy Caravan, or the Delamotte family. They are a family that was formerly IBLP. However, you can take the people out of the group, but not the group out of the people, getting ahead of myself. And they have 11 children, 13 total people with the entire family. Now, some of the children are very musically talented, and 2 of the older ones ended up getting into Juilliard and all this stuff. So the parents pack up the entire family and move to New York. However, the catch is they can't afford to live in New York. So the kids have to work busking 7 days a week to pay the bills. Some of the more notable things were that one of their children, Pearl, had gotten a full ride, but they still had her living at home and busking with them all the time, plus her school career. Their oldest, Jeremiah, actually met a woman that he was really in love with, who he's married to and has a baby on the way right now, but had to hide the entire relationship from his parents. All of the things that I'm repeating are not extrapolations. These are things that they went on TV and said. However, Mom feels like,
I kind of would like to have not had the villain edit, but it's okay. Someone's got to do it.
She feels that she got the villain edit, and here's kind of the little catch about that, and a fun secret that a lot of people on reality TV don't know apparently. They can't actually film you saying things unless you said them. It's like this really crazy thing. It's science. I don't know. I'm not a scientist or a Keebler elf, but that feels like science. Not to mention, who edited this?
That's another non-empty-handed thing I feel like we're coming back with is we have Eleanor, and she is a gem. I know I don't own her. It's just that, but I feel like a little. She's my daughter-in-law. I kind of own her, right?
So no, we don't own people. That's an established problem throughout history, I feel like. Not to mention, imagine being her daughter-in-law, because this is the person who married the son that we were talking about. You're just doom scrolling, having a good time, and then you see a video where your mother-in-law says she owns you. Like, all right, no. And that's the update on Jeremiah, their oldest. He has actually gotten married, he has a baby on the way, and has moved to Pennsylvania to be closer to his wife's family, where he is going to pursue law school. Now, this is another kicker in these updates. So, she doesn't actually think music school is what you should do for sure, because you're not going to make any money.
Anything in the arts is hard to make money in, which is why I tell my kids after they graduate with their music degree, I'm like, you should do something else. So Josiah's doing law, and I'm encouraging Elijah maybe to get his MBA, and I'm encouraging Noah to do maybe engineering, and our girls too, whatever they want to do. But in general, most of my girls, they've expressed that they want to get married, and so whatever they would do would probably just be a supplemental income, but who knows.
She actually made that statement while bashing on her husband's degree in graphic design, because now that they're moving back to California, he can't get a job that makes very much money. So she really wants to encourage her kids to do something that they're actually going to have a future for. Yes, the same woman who moved all of these kids across the country telling them this was their future, now you need to do something. But that's just the boys. The girls are going to get married, and that's part of her villain edit she didn't like, because on the show she also kind of belittled their education because they're women, but then she just keeps saying it. But yes, you heard that right. Moving back to California. Now, their story, what they're saying is they were evicted. However, the landlord decided not to renew the lease. This is all from her video, so it's very interesting to watch. But the landlord has decided not to renew their lease because they have been a continuous noise problem with the other neighbors. Several other neighbors in and out complaining about the same things with them. However, Amber feels like, that's the mom, well, it's New York. There's going to be noise. Why are you even mad about it? They're the problem, not us, even though it was 3 separate tenants who came in over a very lengthy amount of time. She bashes on the landlord for not wanting to renew the lease, and people from his background have tons of children. So he should be okay with it, which that went into a territory that was absolutely horrible and shows that maybe you didn't get the villain edit. Maybe you're just kind of a villain. I don't know. She also goes into, again, how much they were paying for rent, which was $12,300 a month, because they not only rented their unit, but the one beneath it. And Dad, on the show, again, said he only makes $6,000 a month, so that additional $6,300 plus utilities, plus groceries, plus whatever else they've got. They've got an Airstream payment, which I'll talk about that in a minute. We're all on the backs of the children. That's why they had to work 7 days a week.
Why San Diego? People are like, oh, it's an expensive city. Well, there's a number of reasons. California in general, we have a trailer. People ask why we didn't sell our Airstream trailer. If we're hurting financially, we owe more on it than it's worth. So it is a depreciating asset, but one of the reasons why we were interested in that trailer was it fit our big family, and it was something that our van could pull. And in general, they're made pretty well to kind of withstand, more than kind of the 2 years that some RVs, a lot of times it's like 2 years and the slide breaks. I've just heard so many like bad stories.
I'm not going to say Airstreams aren't durable, but it did kind of strike me. Oh, well, other trailers, they really only last 2 years. That is not true. Let's go talk to my grandma's pop-up that's from the 70s, and that thing refuses to move on from this life. Will not do it, but I'm getting ahead of myself. However, that means exactly what you think it does. They are moving from New York because they don't have a place to live anymore, going back to California, and are going to be living in an Airstream trailer with 10 people, 8 of their kids and them. A lot of people who followed them for a while are like, well, they have a house in California. No, they don't. They sold it to move to New York, and they ran through all of that. Because you got to remember, over the last 3 years, these people have paid roughly $450,000 in rent just to be there. So they had actually sold the house. The Airstream really is the only thing that they have left, and they say that they have good credit scores, but they can't find anywhere to live. They're going to rely on themselves, this trailer, and hopefully the help of family. However, that family is still IBLP. IBLP wants you to have all these babies, but they have specific rules against helping people financially, these sorts of things. Jim Salmon's financial course, you can find it on the Duggars, all of that stuff, but one of the most express rules and tenets of that is to not lend money, don't do anything like that. People need to figure it out, even though you guys are the one who told them to have like a bazillion kids, but okay. If you're not familiar with that tenet of Quiverful IBLP, you have as many as they'll give you, just one after the other, regardless of whether you can feed them, clothe them, house them. Now that group is sure gonna shame you if you don't go that way, but when you're putting hungry babies to bed at night and need a little bit of help, well, might not be so easy to find them. But in every cloud there is a silver lining or something like that, and everyone had been like, oh my god, I hope Pearl gets to do her thing. Well, Pearl is doing her thing.
Pearl, she has a full scholarship to Juilliard, so she'll be fine. She got a teacher's aide job that we helped her with certain things while we were here, and like as
How she was paying the bills
financially, we could help less and less. Pretty soon she was helping us, so it's like because she had won some stuff, and she's like, "Hey, I want to help you guys out." So she has a teacher's aide position for the theory department at Juilliard, so she's gonna be good.
Your third oldest, Elijah, will also be staying because he has some scholarship stuff of his own, but the rest of them, mom, dad, and the 8 youngest, will be traveling across America and vlogging the whole thing until they get back to California. I do want to point out, though, this isn't like some win moment or an I gotcha or whatever. This is clearly how this was going to end up. And it's super sad for the kids because, yes, the parents have made horrible decisions, absolutely horrible decisions, but the ones who are ultimately going to suffer because of those decisions and have a disruption in their life are those kids who have no choice in the decision-making process. So it's just incredibly sad. That being said, I hope you guys have a good day, and I will see you next time.